today's look, I'm going to be recreating the look from the new Mummy film, and this was done by Lizzie Georgiou. And what they actually did this time is they invited us to go to London, so we got to see exactly how she did the makeup. And apart from her doing a demonstration on the model, which was fascinating on its own, we also got to see the mood boards and also all the little different pieces which went into making this character behind the scenes. All the tattoos, the development of the character, the inspiration for the character. There were two different looks that Sofia Boutella wore in the film. There was the more regal, elegant look that she wore as Princess Ahmanet, and then the more distressed look of the mummy, which is the look that I'll be recreating today. Before I start doing any of the makeup, I'm going to be applying a nose ring that they gave me, which is one of the details they added to Princess Ahmanet. And this has got a square edge, not a rounded one. And then once I've put that on, I'm going to be moving on to the brows. And what we're going to do is blank out the edges and then straighten them out. I'm going to be using a Pritt Stick, and then I'm just going to be covering up the very outside of my brows. So you want to go over that with a Pritt Stick, make sure that it's really pressed down, and especially if you've got thicker brows, you're going to need to apply a few more layers. As soon as it's as close to the skin as you can, you want to wait for it to dry. While it's drying, I'm going to be doing the runes. Now what they did is they took a cast on this cast of the runes every single day. But then while we were at the showing for the mummy, what they did is they gave us these stencils, which made my life a lot easier. So there's a line which goes right down the neck, and you're going to ignore the tattoo on the chin. That one was actually a mistake. You have a line going down the neck. Once I've done that, I'm then going to go over the brows, and you want to use a concealer which is closer or slightly lighter to your own skin tone to blank out those brows. And now to change the shape of them, you want to take whatever kind of colour you use to fill in your brows normally, take a smaller art brush, and then what you want to do is draw these tiny little detailed lines. Don't go over it with a thicker brush and draw a harsh line. You could do that, but then if you're going to have someone standing close to you and looking at it in detail, you want to try and draw something which is going to mimic the shape of your brows and the way they grow naturally. So try and do these tiny little flicks and have the brows going outwards. Then I'm going to go back to that same palette that I used for the brows, and then the more rusty colours you want to have that on the lower lid, and then the darker browns you're going to have that on the upper lid. Bring that colour all the way into the inner corner of the eye, and then on the outer corner of the eye try and blend it out towards the edge of the brows. For the next part, there are two different things you could use. You could either use a kohl or you can use a powder. I'm going to be using a powder, and I'm going to take an art brush and I'm going to try and dabble this colour right into the lashes. I'm going to be using a dark black, but especially if you want to make the eyeliner look as if you at one point you had neat eyeliner and then it just started to wear away and look a little bit more grungy. Try and bring that colour more to the middle of the lashes and then the outer corner of the lashes on the upper lid. Now we're going to finish off with the runes, and the easiest way to do this if you're doing a stencil is to follow the shape of it. That way you're not going to get the eyeliner bleeding along the edge of the stencil and ending up a little bit of a mess. I'm going to finish off on the chin, which actually has two runes before it joins up on that one rune line on the neck. Finish off on the runes on the cheeks as well. And then for the lips, what you need to do is take a black lipstick, or you could use an eyeliner. You're going to place that right down the centre of the lips, but before you blend it out, take the same concealer that you used for your brows earlier, use that to cover the lips, and then blend those two colours together. Finally on the eyes, go back to a black eyeshadow, and you're going to apply this on the outer corner of the eye. Try and get that to curve between the upper lid and the lower lid, and then drag that colour out towards the edge of your brows. Whatever's left on your brush, bring that onto the inner corner and blend it up into the eyebrows. Now that the face makeup is done, we're going to move on to the last three details. We're going to start off with the bandages, and I've already stained these with coffee and tea. Wrap yourself up, and then we're going to move on to the hands. Now as you can see, this is the makeup that was done on the model, and then Princess Ahmanet originally had a lovely turquoise colour on the end of her fingers, but eventually they changed to black, which is the look we're going to be replicating today. It's very simple, just put some black on the very end of your fingertips, imitate the runes which are going to follow down from each of your fingers, and then I'm going to move on to an ash powder which I'm going to dust all over my face, neck and hair before we're going to move on to flour and water. And before that sounds insane, that's actually what they used in the film. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have two different mixtures. I'm going to have a cup full of just normal flour, and then I'm going to have one with flour and water. I'm going to apply the flour and water first, so I figure out where I want this to be applied before I go over with the flour and dust it over. You want this to go through the hair, all over the face, and then if you think an area looks a little too ashy, just dust it away. I'm going to add a little bit more black along the lip line just to have a bit more contrast. And then that's it. You're done.